Note-taking is a really important part of taking information out of the literature.
The reading list at uni isn't to pass your exam, it's to know the subject. So initially when you look at it, it is quite daunting, but then you realise, then you develop the skills to filter out, what you want to learn and what's important for you.
Some lecturers give you a good reading list. They give you a page and there's about 2 or 3 essential readings, and then some extra ones if you want to. But some lecturers just give you a big page of useful things and you don't know really what to read.
A good tip I do is look in the references that they've used and see if there's any sort of come up between them, because obviously those are the ones, if they're referencing, they must be good. So obviously they'll reference each other, but normally I'll look in the reference sections of the papers we've been given, and then that's normally a good starting point.
And also if you're just typing in generally keywords in search engines, it's a good idea to look at how many times an article has been cited, because that tells you how reliable it is or how well reviewed it is, sort of thing, and that kind of gives you a better indication that it is useful for the area that you're looking into.
I would say the key isn't to read faster, so you just take in large volumes of text. It's to learn how to read effectively. So what I do, I'll skim read a piece of text and look for like keywords or buzzwords that are relevant to what I need to know.
Our psychological studies are scientific ones, so you sort of have a very clear defined structure in each one, so they're also quite similar. So I tend to read the introduction, obviously, but it does sort of give you a nice snapshot of the research that's happened before. So when I'm coming to write my own arguments or my own point of view for an essay, that sort of is invaluable, because it gives you they've done a lot of research to write this paper, and if it's been published, it must be good. So using their sort of introduction as a snapshot of the previous literature is a really good idea. And definitely looking at method as well, because then that gives you an idea of sort of, they may have found the same thing, maybe they did it in a different way.
First, what I would do when I find an article, obviously, is a title that says a lot. And then second thing I will read immediately is abstract, which is about 100, 150 words, entire study or entire experiment or whatever that is in a little sort of pale way to read it. And if after reading that I think there's something there that I could use, I would then move to introduction, which is another part, and then probably I would move to discussion.
When I have the papers in front of me, I have a lot more time to sit and read. So I'll go through and highlight the papers, the important information, and then I'll transfer that onto bit paper. So again, I'm writing all the time, because that's, like I said, how I learn best. So I'm highlighting it through, writing all out, and then again, I'll have like a crib sheet of just the important information from that study. And that way, when I come to write the essay, I can sort of, rather than having to search through the text each time, I can just have it right in front of me and read it from there.
I find it particularly useful to write the reference out in full of the article so that it's there for when I need it in an essay or something like that. And yeah, I just write down the main points really, and any particular quotes that they're talking about might be useful later.
So something is very important piece of material that I need to know inside out. I would probably make very sort of deep into detail notes with some sort of questions that I think arise from it, some evaluation points that I think are important.
When I read my text, my notes are very in detail, so that I don't have to go back. Obviously they're not as in detail as actual text, but I don't have to go back to the text anymore. I've got my notes, and then any essay I write off it is off my notes. And it also helps me not to plagiarize.
So if you compare it back to what the lecturer is actually asking you to have as an aim and objective, then you can really take the information out of the literature and actually save some time to look at even more literature to gain a better understanding of the subject and do even better in assessed coursework.